it tends to be a good idea to conquer trade node by trade node if you're like money motivated. So what I could do here is conquer all of like the Safi trade node, and then I'd have all that trade value being pumped into Sevilla, where I gain a whole bunch of it. Even better than that would be to control all the provinces in the Sevilla trade node, but unfortunately that would put me at odds with Castile, and I don't think that's worth it in the slightest. Because what, I make quite a bit of money from trade, and that's only on like 30%. Yeah, I make basically a third of my income, almost 4 ducats a month off of trade. And that's with only like 27% power in this trade node. So if I had 100% power in this trade node, I'd be making like 16 ducats. So that would be really great. But of course I would also own all these provinces, so I'd be like, all of my income would go up. So it tends to be kind of proportional. Okay, here's my loan is up. Good thing I have enough money, I can just repay that loan. Ooh, the Emperor enacted an imperial reform. So I just showed you the papacy view. That's something that's simulated in the game. If you want to play with it, you can. If you don't, it's not a big deal to just kind of ignore or let it take the back seat. This is another thing that's, again, cool that it's simulated in the game, but if you don't want to play with it, you really don't have to. So this is the Holy Roman Empire, which is a really unique government reform. I would kind of compare it historically to like the EU, like the European Union. It's like all these small German province, like, I don't know, little princedoms or duchies or whatever, basically got together and they had like a like democratic system for who would protect the rest of the provinces. So in I think other games would have gone the route of representing the Holy Roman Empire as one country all in itself, like it'd be one big country taking up all of this. But EU4 went with having individual states who sort of vote into this other system. So Austria is the Holy Roman Emperor. The von Habsburg dynasty, just like in real life, is very strong in this game. These princes are electors. All these other princes are simply countries which are in the HRE. The big thing that the HRE does if you're not playing as an HRE state is you can't really conquer in there very easily because they'll all fight you. There's a bunch of malices that you will get if you conquer Holy Roman Empire territory. But the Emperor has this like mini game that you can play. You can pass these reforms to give you and your sort of club extra benefits, and then if you're really good, you can become the Holy Roman Empire. You can like consolidate into one big country. Anyway, pretty interesting mechanics, but a little much, I think, for this tutorial guide. So something that is good is that we just got National Ideas 5. I can get my idea groups, so I'm going to take this technology. You can see the institution technologies, or the institution penalty is rising, so it's kind of expensive. Generally speaking, technologies should cost around 600. If you're getting lower than that, it's a good deal. If you're paying more, it's kind of a bad deal. This is close enough, and I really need those ideas. Okay, so in addition to being able to choose ideas from these categories, each nation also has like other bonuses, other ideas called national ideas that the developers set to kind of like give each country flavor and have things play out according to like a more historical railroad way of playing the game. So these are my Portuguese ideas, national ideas. As I unlock these chosen ideas, each time I get one of these, I'll get 1/3 of a progress towards my national ideas. So I will get Sailors modifier and colonial range, goods produced modifier, trade power, another merchant, construction cost reduction, and yearly absolutism. Absolutism is a very late game mechanic, by the way, so I will explain it, but not until, I don't know, like 1600 or something. Global settler increases makes our colonies grow more quickly, and trade efficiency. So these two, trade power and trade efficiency, will improve our trade value and income and give us extra money. Goods produced, as provinces have their trade good and a production, this will make them produce extra, so it's a really good modifier that'll give us a lot of extra money. Sailors is, man, I don't really care. I don't suspect that sailors are going to be a limiting factor, but I do need enough sailors to build and staff my boats. Let's see, colonialism, colonial growth is really good. So you also start out with traditions. Those are ideas that we already have. We don't have to unlock them. So I already have trade efficiency and trade range bonuses, which is good. So a lot of these Portuguese ideas are relating to trade and expansion and colonialism. So that's kind of how I'm going to try and play this game out. Yes. That'll give us money. That'll allow us to become very powerful. We'll try to control the spice trade and do all those fun things. But for now, our trade's good. We're drawing in value from Tunis and Safi into Sevilla. We're collecting quite a lot of it. It's a good income for us. So anyway, getting back to the ideas, I'm going to take exploration ideas as my first. So this is what AI Portugal would do, and this is sort of the analog of what historical Portugal did. So we're going to take the first idea here. It costs us 400 Diplo power. This is an exploration group, which is in the... I'm just going to remove it so I can open up the... Oh, I don't have to do that. Never mind. Okay, so I'm going to just show you these. The diplomatic ideas cost diplomatic monarch power. The military ideas cost military monarch power. The administrative ideas cost administrative monarch power. So suppose you had a ruler who was really strong in some categories and really weak in other categories. So I have a skew towards administrative, a pretty good spread though. But you could have a ruler who has 6 in one skill and 0 in another. So you can kind of be strategic when you pick your idea groups to get one that is in the category that you'll have the most monarch power. Another thing you can do is you can set this focus. You can only set it every 10 years, and I removed my focus so I would have an even spread. But if I now wanted more Diplo points, I could put my focus back on this. It would give me 8 per month instead of 6, but give me 1 fewer each of the administrative and military points. So anyway, that's enough about that. Probably a pretty long-winded explanation. I'm going to take the quest for the New World. It cost me 400 dip. This allows me to recruit explorers and conquistadors. I already had a explorer at game start, but now I think we just unlocked his ability to cross like actual ocean tiles. Oh, look at that. Look at me go. Okay, so I'm going to shift clicking and set him up a little exploration path all the way down there and then bring him back home. Look at those little boats go. So it's usually best to have just a few light ships, but more than 1. 3 tends to be about right because it's not too expensive to have 3 light ships running around. I think maybe they're faster if you have more of them, or there's some other bonus like that, but these are the things about the games that I don't really understand all the time, and that's really fine. Another thing is that as you your ship's attrition away, you can see these are at 93 and 97% strength. I could send them on a really long journey, like down to the Cape of Africa or something, and then they would get really low. And so that's one good reason about having multiple ships in your exploration fleet, is that then when the attrition gets high, like 1 ship will die before the other ones, so you'll lose like a couple of ships or 1 at a time instead of losing your whole fleet. So you can get more exploration done. Okay, I can choose to lose 5 legitimacy or 5 prestige. I'm at full legitimacy and it ticks up, so I'm actually going to lose legitimacy, although generally speaking, legitimacy is more valuable than prestige. But that's fine, that'll tick up. Within 10 years I'll be back at 100. My bonuses are reduced ever so slightly, but I probably won't even notice the difference. So one thing I am going to do, which relates to prestige, is I'm going to disinherit my heir. So I was just talking about having an heir with a spread of monarch points. My heir has only 5 total monarch points, which is really bad. I want a ruler with about 10, and I especially want administrative and military. So I don't remember which DLC, maybe Common Sense, gives you the ability to disinherit an heir. So that's in the Empire's Founders Pack. I'm going to do that. If you don't have the DLC, it's totally fine. There's other ways to try and get rid of your heir. And again, you can just, like, this is just EU4. Like, you just live with it. You're like, you shrug, you laugh, you say, okay, well, I have fewer monarch points. and you can still play. The game didn't have this feature for many years, and people loved it. But I'm going to do that. I think that's a good play for me. It cost me 50 prestige, which is really harsh. I'm going to go to the negatives. That's okay. Positive prestige tends to tick down, while negative prestige will tend to tick up. So you can see that decay modifier. So when it's in negative, it will decay towards 0, and that's true of positive. So it's okay to go down a little bit, because that's like, it's kind of a waste to have your prestige tick down every month when it could be ticking up. So right now I have upticking prestige. This is well worth it because having a good monarch is going to give me hundreds or thousands of monarch power over the course of their life. So this is a way of basically trading prestige to get monarch power, and it's a very well worth it trade. You can disinherit your heirs pretty ruthlessly, and it tends to be a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna build a few more troops, get back up towards my force limit. I might try to get to my force limit again. So this is something dumb I did in the last recording session. Is I had this mission available. It gives me morale of armies. What I said I would do is I would take it right before the war, and then I totally forgot about it and didn't. So probably fine. I mean, that war like would have been a disaster even if I had the extra morale. But I'm gonna do it by the book this time. I'm not messing around. When I go to fight Morocco, I'm gonna play it a lot safer and not get myself into that risky situation. Because while I did get trolled, like that shouldn't have happened. It was a random thing that really ruined me. Oh god. Okay, so I've just been leaving my ships down here for a few months. I sent them here without sending them back. That was totally my bad. So they have 17% attrition. I hope they can get home. Whew. Okay, there was a time before the game even gave you a notification about that, and your troops would just die. You don't pay attention, and your troops just attrition away to nothingness. Okay, good. They're near these provinces, so they're not taking attrition. Okay, they might take attrition in the Mercian coast, so, but they're locked in. I can't make them not. Okay, that sucks. They're gonna take a tick of attrition here, I think. Oh no, they're not. Still 0. Very nice. Okay, good. So they're gonna make it home. Got a few more troops. Gonna send them down. Actually, I'm gonna not start them in Ceuta. I'm gonna start them in the Iberian Peninsula, because that was something stupid that I did last time. Is I just had my troops already here on the other side of the strait. The strait got blocked. No, I can do better. I'm gonna yeah, fight a safer war than I did last time. So what's going on? I can declare this war. I don't have a truce, and Castile will join. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's so terrible. They got an alliance with the Ottomans. Oh, and the Ottomans are so strong. Ooh, that sucks. Okay, well, that's gonna really limit me. I might have to focus a bit more on colonialism, to be honest with you, because Ottomans are probably the strongest country at game start, and they have the potential to become an absolute monstrosity. And in most games, the Ottomans do become an absolute monstrosity. So, I don't know. You can see here in the declaration screen, though, they're in debt. Morocco has a bad diplomatic reputation, so you can see actually they're not super keen on getting involved in this war. And they're also really far away, so I could maybe pull the trigger on this if I thought the time was right. However, I don't love the odds here, so I'm not going to do this right now. Okay, got a pop-up. I can get a 442, so that's an okay leader. 2 mil is not great. He will also have a weak claim, so if I have an heir with a weak claim, that's going to make my legitimacy suffer. And then when he takes the throne, legitimacy will jump all the way to -20, most likely. So that's bad. Man, I'm not going to do this. I think I can get a better heir. My ruler is young. Only 29. He's got time to live for a while, pump out some babies, so I'm going to pass. I'm going to take the papal influence. I'm not really doing it for that. I just think I can get a better heir. That one did have 10 points total, so I guess that is kind of like my benchmark for a good enough heir, but I don't just want like the bare minimum, you know. I want a good heir. Give me like 12 or 14 points. That would be fantastic. Okay, here I'm actually Oh man, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna do this again, but you know what? I guess the bonus will be there again for me in the future. So if I take it now, it gives 25 years. I don't know. I'm gonna wait a little bit because, like, I was just considering attacking Morocco. Decided that's a bad idea because I do not want to fight the Ottomans. Like, if you thought the last war was a disaster, fighting the Ottomans is like a proper. They occupy your whole country and like you lose disaster. So let's not go down that road. What I should do is take this tech before the penalty goes up too much. I think I did a really minor explanation of institutions in the last video, but I'm going to go into this real quick again. So each of these institutions, so this one spawns before the game starts. This one spawns, I think, in 1450, so about 6 years after the game starts. It has to spawn in northern Italy, and then this idea, the institution, will spread from one province to another. These striped provinces are places where the institution is growing. This is another province modifier. So you can see it's growing at almost 1 per month, so it'll be there in like, what is that, I don't know, 10 years or something. So provinces spread institutions based on adjacency. We're in Europe, so we'll get institutions pretty early for the most part. This one is actually ticking up just because it's a 10 development province in Europe. Oh, this one's ticking up even faster, so we might actually get it here like pretty early. Anyway, I'm not going to worry too much about institutions, and generally I feel that's the best method to take. Usually you're just paying about the same as all your neighbors are. You can kind of be clever about it, like you can wait to tech up, like you can get ideas. So one thing that actually I could do right now is you can see here that I get one idea group at technology 5 and another one at technology 7. So I could rush to technology level 7, it's like spending all my admin points just on technology, and then at level 7 I could take an administrative idea group, and then while the technology is more expensive, I won't be buying technology, I'll be buying ideas with my monarch power. But it's kind of a min-maxy thing, you really don't have to do that. Okay, so I teched up my military, I get new units. So here's another thing about your military is that as you progress in technology, you get better and better units. Your units have more pips, they are called. So there's the different phases in the battle. There is fire and shock phases, and then morale governs sort of like how well your troops fight, more generally, like how long they're willing to stay in the battle. So you can see here I have the choice of a few different units that I gain at tech level 5. If you don't want to worry about this, really don't. You can just pick it based on what sounds cool. Like if you just think longbows are cool, then go for longbows. So this guy has defensive morale, offensive morale, and offensive shock. Men-at-arms have defensive shock, defensive morale. Okay, so I think I'm going to take these guys because they have offensive pips, and, you know, as like a human player as opposed to an AI player, I suspect that I'm going to find myself on the offensive more often than not. So I'm going to go with those guys. The flag popped up to tell me to choose new units, so that's a good thing to be notified of by the flags. And you should definitely have up-to-date units, there's no reason not to. The only thing is that when you change over, your morale drops for those units that are new. And so if you're in the middle of a war, don't switch your units right before you're about to fight. But I'm pretty stable. I just have the Moroccan separatists that aren't going to maybe ever rise up, or if they rise up, it'll be in many years. Okay, sweet. This is another papal event. Okay, so like what's kind of happening here is the game is representing like the decline of Catholicism into like sort of corruption and political infighting instead of being like more of a religious organization. So some of these events, oh, this one doesn't actually, but some of these events are going to give the Catholics reform desire. And when reform desire goes high enough, the Reformation will happen and Protestantism will appear on the game map. So again, this is a cool, like, you know, representation of historical events. Like, I love EU4 for having things like this. But anyway, I can either get money, not very much money. The clergy estate, something I haven't talked about is estates. This is a DLC feature that is included in one of my 3 DLCs. I'm going to gain the stability, that's definitely the better call here. I don't like estates very much. I think they're kind of an unfun, annoying mechanic, and they're not very important, so I'm going to leave this out for now. Like, I'm targeting this whole YouTube series and these videos at beginners who are learning how to play, also at people with low or no DLC, so estates, they're a thing you can use to your benefit, but it's like, I think most EU4 players would even agree that estates are kind of a badly designed game mechanic. So they can make you stronger, they can make you, like, technically if I was playing well, I would be using my estates, but I just don't really want to. Like, and I think it's an unimportant game mechanic relative to the other things, which I would like to talk about more so. So I would still really like to declare this war, but I don't know, the Ottomans are really strong. I might wait out my truce with Granada, that's not very far. Okay, it's 4 years, that is kind of a long time. But maybe I can just do a little exploration. Oh, my explorer died. Okay, I'll have to get a new one, that's fine. It's only 50 dip, whatever. I don't really need a new explorer, but I'm gonna go for it, I just want to do it. It's like something to do while I wait for my truces. So I'm gonna send him out. Like, obviously, we know like what the world looks like. Like, you know, you have an idea that like South America is here, and like, you know, what's now Brazil protrudes towards West Africa. But there's a mode that you can play on if you have the, I think, Conquest of Paradise DLC, which makes the New World random, so that it's actually like a surprise and a mystery, as it would have been like historically for the Portuguese explorers. Anyway, just a little side note. So yeah, I don't want to like rip on the DLCs like they're a bad thing. I mean, it is pretty annoying that the game is so expensive and so inaccessible, but I also think that the game continually gets better, like the base vanilla game continually gets better as more DLCs are released, so it's really a win-win. And another thing is that in many cases, I don't think the DLCs make the game any better. It's just like feature bloat. Like, there's just too much going on and too many things that you can do, and some of them aren't fun, some of them are just annoying. So frankly, I think a low DLC approach is the way to go, especially for a newer player. If you want to play the game like to its maximum, or if you want to play in different regions of the world, some of the DLCs can make that more fun. But really, there's nothing wrong with having the vanilla game with no DLCs, or only having a few DLCs, because it's something like $200 to buy all the DLCs unless they're on sale, so that's kind of an unreasonable thing to expect. Okay, sweet. We can get one more idea. We have 400 Diplo power. I'm gonna do this. And this is great. This might not seem great, but I now have a colonist, which means that I can colonize these provinces. So you've seen a bunch of these provinces which don't have countries on them. They're just like bare land. And so I can send a colonist there, and I can make it just kind of become my land. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to send a colonist here to Tenerife. If I don't do it, Spain will get there very shortly. They're probably working on colonization ideas as well. Actually, you can right-click, and you can see they have not unlocked any ideas. They're only at Tech 4, but most likely they will take exploration. So I want to colonize early, and I want to colonize often. If you play this game and you want to do the colonial sort of playstyle, definitely the earlier you start, the better. Because as you get out here, you'll see a lot of these provinces are very low development. Like, the vast majority are 3 and 4 development, which is pretty much as low as they possibly could be. But then there's also some gems, like there's some, you know, 7 and 10 development provinces. And you're just getting that for free, you know? Like, it just becomes yours. You don't have to fight anyone for it. You just have to pay some maintenance on your colonist, which unfortunately can become very expensive. So each colony costs 2 ducats per month, which is a little bit of a strain on my budget right now because I'm not a very big, strong country. I want to have 3 colonists at the same time later in the game, so I need to become strong enough, like in my home core country, to be able to run a much bigger surplus to be able to pay for that. Actually, something I can do, I can turn this fort off. The rebellion has ended. Can I turn this fort off? That fort is already turned off. So yeah, I want to keep making money. I don't want to go into debt to colonize, yeah, so the mercantilism is a bonus that lasts until the end of the game. Maybe I can talk a little bit about that. That's in the trade screen. Okay, so this is a mercantilism. You can see that if you have more of it, you'll have a bonus to your provincial trade power. So I talked about provinces, how they fit into the trade nodes. So if I have higher mercantilism, the provinces will give me more trade power. So I have 27% of the trade power with relatively few provinces, I think. So I probably already have better mercantilism than Castile does. I've also taken a few events already which give me that mercantilism, which maybe the AI wouldn't do. So another thing about trade is that some provinces are really disproportionately valuable. This is represented on the map by this very hard to see stack of coins. And more importantly, you can see there are these modifiers that appear on the trade screen and also appear in the provinces. So Lisboa is a estuary and it is an entrepot, or a natural harbor. So you can upgrade your center of trade. If you have one of these icons, you can click this little tile here on the building view to upgrade it. It's really expensive. I don't think it's worth it for me right now. I think it costs like, I don't know, 200, 400 ducats, something like that. A few hundred ducats, I could upgrade it from level 1 to level 2. And then for 500 ducats, I can upgrade it from level 2 to level 3. And that will give me more trade power, but it's probably not worth it most of the time. If you don't do that, that's probably fine. Okay, this is a great event. I just get some powers. Sweet, good stuff. Okay, how are we looking here? I'm gonna keep checking this periodically just in case something comes up. Oh, actually, something kind of is coming up. So the Ottomans are in a war. Some of their territory is being occupied. Oh, they're in a war with Theodora, which is this tiny one province. So that's not going to go well for them. But still, though, if they control a fort or something, like... Oh, what just happened? Oh my goodness, it's happening. Okay. Alright. This is happening. So I'm going to declare this war. I should have been paying everyone, but I didn't know this was going to be an option.